Hello, welcome back to Foos Entertainment. This time for my review of 1978's Damien, the Omen 2, which is part of my Omen box set from 20th Century Fox. Well, Damien, the Omen 2. This is an underrated movie, in my opinion. A very, very underrated movie indeed. I thought that the shock factor, the exposition, maybe a little bit of a scare, was much more relevant in the second movie, Damien, the Omen 2, than it was in the first film. Because in this film, it's already established who Damien is. Damien is, you know, the Antichrist. He's the devil in the flesh. He's the son of the devil, whatever you want to call him. In this case, the son of the devil. It's already been established. We already know. So, because of that, you can actually have a lot more fun with this character now. And it shows him as a teenager in this movie. And I might add, he's pretty evil. He's a pretty evil little teenager in this movie. I thought that they did a great job with pushing the envelope. I mean, there's some things that Damien does that you think he wouldn't do. Like, for example, his mortal brother. He was the older son of Robert Thorne's brother or cousin, I believe his cousin. He took Damien in, obviously, after the events of the first movie. And of course, obviously, they declared that Robert Thorne, as well as his wife, were crazy. So that's how that goes. But yeah, he makes a bond with this older brother of his, and that doesn't. And he says, "Join me or die." And he literally kills his older brother. So, yeah, there's some pretty big stuff that actually pushes the envelope quite well in this movie that makes you think that anything and everything is possible with these films in a lot of ways. While keeping it very old school, very classic, almost Hammer films like 5, which is what Damien films kind of do, which is one thing I like about them. That's what I do like about them, because I do like the Hammer era as well. Which had this come to a close when these films were kind of made. Alright, well, the plot of the film. Taking place 11 years, possibly 12 years. I say between 11 and 12 years after the events of the first film. Damien is a teenager, and he is living a luxurious life with his adoptive father's cousin. He was also involved in politics as well. He is top of his class at a military academy, to where he discovers other minions. Now, what is a minion? Well, a minion is a devil's servant. So, if you really want to take a look at the evil nanny from the first movie, which I thought was not worth a mention, there are people out there in these movies that, and possibly if this did happen in real life, it would be in real life too. They're servants to the devil. They're either they're possessed by some demon, or they're just there and they know. But the devil has servants. You know, the Antichrist has servants in these movies, and he comes across 2 of them, obviously, in this film. And of course, they're all helping him do his bidding and stuff like that. And it just shows his teenage years, obviously. And it has a very twisted ending. And there's not really much to apply this. That's what's so brilliant about it. They spend more time on the execution of just showing Damien being Damien in his teenage years in military academy and stuff like that. Now the big twist around the end of the film is where it kind of goes cool. We find out that that I guess Davian's mother figure, his mom figure, who is obviously technically his I don't know, aunt or something. We find out at the very end that she's actually one of his minions as well. And she kills her husband because she wants to serve Damien, and ends up getting killed, I believe, by cops or something. But because it's been a few days since I've seen these movies, and it was late at night after work. But something like that. But what I really like about the movie is just the overall experience. Like the first film, this film has much more of a visceral exposition feel. So it's more of a psychological movie, like the first film is. And it does push the envelope a lot because there's things that Damien does in this movie that you're like, okay, that was twisted. So the twist value definitely gets raised up in this movie versus the last one. Quality. Quality has not risen really at all in this movie from the first film. It's still in a 2.35. All these films are in 2.35. Except for the remake. It didn't make any sense to me why the remake is not, but the remake isn't. More on that later, obviously, when I get to it. But yeah, it's in 2.35, which means we have bar stop bottom of the screen on a widescreen display. It still has that very warm, digital, grainy type of look, like the first film does, because like I said, it didn't do the best job on the remastering of these films. At least not in this box set. Obviously, a Screen Factory box set probably do have better transfers. Maybe even new 4K scans for all I know. It was limited and I did not get it, so I can't get it. The audio quality. This one's about the same as the first film. There are some sequences in the film to where it very much has some sort of surround effect going on. You can hear it. In terms of me, I hear it overhead. In terms of you, would hear it around you, obviously. So yeah, it's not terrible, but it's not great. As for the film itself, like I said, this is probably my favorite one out of the 4 films that are in the set. My favorite one definitely probably is Damien. And that's even with me liking the third film, The Final Conflict. I still have to say I like the second film the best. 1978's Damien, The Omen 2 is definitely a great movie. So I definitely suggest you check out that one if you are a fan of the first film. You'll definitely like the second one. Because these films get better, in my opinion. It even does get better with the third film. It just, the shock value, the twist factor was not as much there in the third film as it was in the second film. Well, that's my views on 1978's The Omen 2, also known as Damien, The Omen 2. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time for my review of The Final Conflict, which is the official title, although is obviously widely known as The Omen 3, The Final Conflict. Until then.